welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Antonio Palullo, and as you can tell, I'm not wearing a nice shirt, I'm wearing a jersey. It's because we're cutting backroom confessions, just as long as we continue our race to the playoffs segment. But first, we try to keep up with girls' indoor track. Try as they are racing off to the finish line with all kinds of medals, records, and accolades. They're led by Ciara Lenard, who we have on the show next, Janelle Slowly, who we've had on the show, it's great, Chanel Bissett, and Nicole Burke. We're all good runners, all great runners, and a lot of the great girls there too, but they also have a lot of great coaching too. Mr. Kelly Johnson, he has an A+ job. So they should continue their great success and go into Lehigh for states with a lot of steam, and they're going to look good. Now, the race to the playoff begins. So you got the nice little intro. But we begin with the boys' huge upset versus Upper Dublin. It was a game that seemed the boys never really fell behind. They never really got down on themselves. They did fall behind the score, but they didn't really beat themselves up as they were down. It's similar to the PW game. But those wins mean nothing if you can't go on the road and win. The boys have 3 in-conference losses. All 3 of those losses are on the road. Norristown, Wissahickon, and Upper Dublin. So they're going to get another shot at Wissahickon. So you got to win at home. It starts and ends at home. I mean on the road. You got to win on the road. It's almost as important as winning at home. They'll play PW one more time at PW, so there's going to be a big road game there. But they're done playing at Upper Dublin. So right now they sit about 3rd or 4th in the standings. And the girls learned not winning on the road is not going to be very easy. They have 2 in-conference losses, both of them to Upper Dublin, although the first one they lost Gabrielle Wright for a little while there. The second loss is to Upper Dublin, at Upper Dublin. And Ashley Jones, their star scorer, the Suburban 1 leader in points, just really couldn't get off on her scoring, and she really struggled. And, those 2 losses to Upper Dublin is really going to be the reasons why they don't win the American Conference. If they might get in that 14 playoff, they might win Suburban 1, but those 2 losses to Upper Dublin really killed them. And like we said before, you got to win road games, and they lost a big one. And when we come right back, we'll have Ciara Lenard on. Hello, and we're back with Ciara Lenard to talk some girls track. Now, Ciara, you guys have the 4x200 record, state record. I mean, how's that team been?
Well, we've kind of had a minor setback due to the fact that one of our legs on the team kind of got a little bit injured. But we're planning on, she's fine now, so we're planning on coming back strong. We actually just ran last weekend. We ran a good time at Lehigh. So this weekend coming up, we have Kevin there, so we're planning on running as fast as we can there.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about some of the meets there at Lehigh. Again, you did well. How have the meets been? How have they been going?
I would say that this is kind of have been my best indoor season, since freshman year. I've been, nothing's different. Like all the routine, everything's the same. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how the end of the season plays out, into outdoor.
Now, you talked about your routine. I mean, have you had a routine since freshman year that you've been keeping similar, or have there been changes along the way?
I've been trying to keep everything, the same for the most part, but sometimes things have to change, such as like, what time the event runs and how much time I have to warm up based on like what time we get there. So like I try to do the same thing, warm up everything, but sometimes it might change.
We're a little bit more than halfway done through the season. What are the goals here? I mean, you guys won states last year. I mean, is that the same? Do you have the same expectation?
Basically, But I don't want to, kind of jinx it and say, we're going to win because we never know, like, what's going to happen until it does happen. Hopefully we will, because that's what I'm kind of, like, aiming for, to top off my last indoor high school, season. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. All right, well, thank you for being on, and we'll be right back. Hello, and we're back with David Aaron to talk about the boys basketball team with our Race to the Playoff segment. Now, David, the boys, they got a big win against Upper Dublin last week, I believe. Can you tell us about that? What happened there?
Well, last time we played Upper Dublin away, we lost by pretty good amount. So coming back, we wanted to get revenge. We're a better team than them, and we really came out on our home floor and showed it. They have one kid named Simeon Fryer who is a 6'5" small forward, has a shot. But other than that, they're just a team full of role players, and we're more talented, and we won the game.
Yeah, it really seemed like the team never really fell behind. They stayed, I don't want to say ahead, because there were times they did fall down, but they never really seemed to be down as some previous teams.
I think the whole game we were pretty comfortable, and we pulled it out at the end. So.
Yeah, and now you're 7-3, and you got Norristown on Thursday night. And Norristown, last time you won Norristown, that was another one of your losses.
Yeah, earlier in the season, we were having some trouble gelling as a team. Went through a couple games where we got blown out, but we're a completely different team now, and I think we should win on Thursday. Yeah, Norristown's a pretty good team, but I think we should get the win.
And then right after Norristown, I mean, unfortunately, Norristown did cancel, and that did force the game to be on Thursday. And then right after that, you got to come right back and play Upper Moreland. But Upper Moreland's not as good as a Norristown, to say.
Upper Moreland's they're an up-and-coming team, but that should be easier than Norristown. We beat them at their place last time, so I think Friday should be an easy win.
Okay. Now, we sit at 7-3. We haven't played a game against Norristown, Upper Maryland. But one of those big 7 wins in the American Conference is against PW. And next week, PW gets some revenge on their court. So, I mean, do you think that we could, again, pull up another big upset?
I do think we can pull it off. I wouldn't even call it an upset this time around. But it'll be tough. They're good at home. They're 16-2 on the season. So, they're obviously going to be looking for revenge. But I think if we play to our strengths, we could pull that one out too.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Final second, Jimmy Murray coming down the line. He pops up a 3. It looked like it was going in there for a second.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Remember, you can see that on SDC TV, kids, or Channel 42, or the website. It's probably on there somewhere. You can find it. Well, I want to thank my guest, David Aaron, for being on. And we'll be right back with Chris Manser to talk about the girls' team.
All right.
All right, thanks.
All right, we're back with Chris Manser to talk about the race to the playoff. Now, the girls had a tough loss against Upper Dublin the other night.
Yeah, we just didn't play very well. And Upper Dublin is a very solid, hard-working team. They run a lot of stuff that's very difficult to defend, run you off of screens and everything like that. And they took advantage of the fact that we had an off night. The girls did a fantastic job though recovering the next game. Sometimes let down in a game against Springfield, a team that you feel like you should be able to beat. The girls came out really focused and put forth a really strong effort in that game. So that was nice to see.
They played very well against Springfield, and then they ultimately went on to, played well against Springfield. And now they have Upper Moreland coming up. Upper Moreland, maybe not the most talented team, but definitely always tough to go on the road, right?
Always tough to go on the road. Upper Moreland's a team we handled fairly easily, but at this point, as you get close to the playoffs, you're constantly warning, your team, don't overlook anyone, especially in their gym, and you never know if you allow a team to stay in a game and they start believing, it's amazing what they can do. So that's been our mantra to the girls, just make sure every game is important, and because we need it for the playoff standings.
And you just talked about the playoff standings. I mean, the playoffs are looking pretty good for the girls right now.
Yeah, it was 12-4, and we have the most difficult game we have left is playing Abington, but that's at home. Abington is
This Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah. Abington's one of the more talented teams in the district, so that should be a good test for us going into the playoffs. But if we win out, it's certainly going to put us in a really, really good spot. But even if we do happen to take a step back against Abington, we should still be in a position certainly to have a home game and possibly to end up with 2 home games.
I would be great for this team. This team plays very well at home.
Yeah, they do a good job at home, and we've been playing well on the road for the most part too. But when you only have 4 losses, you got to be playing well everywhere. So,
All right, well, thank you for being on.
My pleasure.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Let's get major. And let's talk about everybody's favorite character, the King James. And his fun bunch of Cavaliers, the team that needs bigger changes than a cashier. It's a joke. They acquired a guy who only shoots threes, the guy who's a dunk named after him, not in a good way, and the human eraser. Now all they need is this guy to complete the idiot circle. Maybe not. To say the least, they are in dire strength. And their coach is not in good shape either. I mean, he got pushed. So let's bring in Phil. Okay, so he's not an option. I mean, LeBron can coach, right? We couldn't get a black person by. Really? All right. But even Kevin Love wants to leave Cleveland. Come on. I mean, let's take a break. I mean, it is even the All-Star break. And it's not as bad as it looks. You know, they lost their best player for 2 weeks. And when you look at it like this, the Heat started out in the month of, up until the month of January, you know, when the first year LeBron was there, they were 25-9, while the Cavs are 18-4. That's, you know, up until the month of January. Now, LeBron's come back, and the Cavs have just won 4 straight. So it's going to take some time. You have to sit back, relax, take a deep breath, calm down. It'll be fixed. 5-letter word, guys. RELAX. Relax. No. That's next week. I didn't want to do football 2 weeks in a row. I would have done hockey, but, you know, we don't acquire players for hockey. But that's not here or there. We'll get to it at some point, hopefully. Let's see if the Flyers can win a game. That's it. People over here are pretty noisy. Ian, you can come in now, Ian. He's at the door. Thank you, Antonio, Mascara, and Ben Nussbaum. Don't worry about Matt. I don't have a paper to crumble, so I'll crumble this pass that's here. Thank you, Ferry. Thank you, all the lovely fans watching at home. I went further than I expected. That's it. Drive home safe, folks.